Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this channel, we provide the in-depth knowledge of different programming languages like C, C++, Java, Python, etc., which differentiate you with others. In our series of Python programming language, from last two class, we are discussing the basics of Python. Today, we will learn what is input and output in Python. So let's start. First we will discuss one program that we have already discussed in the last class. Let's start. Now in this program we are defining one function goodbye, and in the main function we are defining two variables of a and b. Now what is this? This is a comment. Now what is comment? Comment is a text which is ignored by the compiler when it is compiling the program. It increases the readability of the program, that we have already discussed in the last class. Then we are defining a function. Def is a keyword, goodbye is the name of the function. This is a function block in which we are writing print time to say goodbye. Then from here main program starts. From here a equal to 15, b equal to a minus 10, print a plus 3. What is print? Print is a function which is used to print some data on the screen. 15 is initialized to a, then b is equal to a minus 10, means 15 minus 10, 5 will be initialized to b. Then with the help of if condition, this is your if block and this is your else block. If b is less than 5, then it will display b is less than 5, else b is greater than 5. Then we are making a function call to goodbye. In goodbye, what happens when we make a function call? The control goes from this place to this place, and after executing all the statements in this function, the control comes back to the same statement from where the function call is made. So this is a small Python program that we have already discussed in the last class. Now let's proceed with input and output function in Python. So let's start. Here we are having simple input and output. Input values using input. So what is input? Input is a predefined function. What is function? Function is a self-contained block of instruction which performs a specific task. What does it means? वो एक self-contained block of instructions है जो particular एक task को परफॉर्म करता है. जैसे इनपुट फंक्शन का काम क्या है? टू इनपुट सम डेटा फ्रॉम द यूजर. दिस व्हाट वी हैव रिटन. टू गेट इनपुट फ्रॉम द यूजर थ्रू कीबोर्ड वी कैन यूज अ बिल्ट इन फंक्शन कॉल्ड इनपुट. गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? व्हाट इज द जनरल सिंटैक्स ऑफ इनपुट? वेरिएबल टू होल्ड द वैल्यू equal to input message to display. This input is a name of the function. Here the message will go and variable to hold the value means what the input function will be written will be held in this variable. Now let's take an example. Name equal to input. What is your name? Now as this program execute, one message will be prompted on the screen, that is standard output device, that is monitor. What is your name? Then user will input some value, suppose Mr. Ram Kumar. Suppose user enter Mr. Ram, then that Ram will be stored in name. Getting my point? As we run this program, message will be prompted on the screen and the user enter the value. As we have already discussed, as we execute this program, the message will be prompted on the screen and the user enter the value. One more important point, input function always return a value of a string type. It always return what? It always return a string. If you want to convert that string into integer or a float, for doing mathematical calculation, then we are having two predefined function, int and float. If we want to use value in int or float format, Python provides two inbuilt function, int and second one is float, to cast string to integer or float. If you want to convert that value, which value? String to integer and float, so we are having two predefined function, one is int and second one is float. This is a syntax. Variable name is equal to int input prompt string. This message will be displayed on the screen. Input will scan some value in a form of string, suppose like 12. it will scan in this format, and that 12 will be converted into integer string, integer constant, that is with the help of int. Getting my point? Then we are having a function called float. Float input prompt string. This prompt string, again it will display on the screen, and it will, suppose user enter like this 123.1. So this string input function will return a string, and that string is converted into float with the help of float function. So this is how int and float are the two predefined function which is used to convert a string into integer and a float. Like in Java, we are having something known as parseInt. Same thing, every language has its own set of functions in the libraries to perform a specific task. Note, while entering the value in input, make sure the value entered must be int or a float compatible. Example, ABC cannot be converted into int or float. This is a simple. Why? Because if you enter ABC, that ABC cannot be converted into 1, 2, 3 or 4 na? Why? Because ABC के equivalent integer constant नहीं हो सकता. So that is why it's a note, it's a user's duty how to handle this situation, that we will learn something known as exception handling. Getting my point? While entering the value in input, make sure that value entered must be int or float compatible. Example, ABC cannot be converted into int or float. Getting my point? Okay. Next is output through print function. Now we are having a function called print which is used to display some output on the screen. Like using print function in Python, we can send some data to the standard output device, that is monitor or the screen. Means अगर screen में अगर आपको कुछ भी display करना है तो we are having a function called print. General syntax is this is a function that we are using from the first class, but today we are trying to understand what actually print is. Print objects comma means what you want to print, you have to specify here, then separator, then end, then where you want to transfer the data, whether you want to flush the stream or not. This means that by default objects will be printed on screen system.standard output. This is how we can specify where you want to transfer the data. You can transfer the data to the printer also, to the file also, but right now we have to transfer the data, or by default it is transferring the data to the screen. Separated sep is equal to space, and at the last printed object will be followed by a new line. Means after printing every object, it will display one space, and at the last it will end with a backslash n, means the cursor will go to the next line. Flush is equal to false indicates that output stream will not be flushed. Now what are streams, that we will discuss in file handling, but right now we can understand कि flush is equal to false we have to specify. So objects comma separator comma end of the line comma file comma flush. So these are the 4 parameters, 1 2 3 4 5 parameters that we have to specify in the print function. Getting my point? We can change this also. How? Python has a facility to call function and pass keyword based values as arguments. So while calling print, we can pass specific values for sep and add. मतलब separator और ending में क्या देना है, you can specify like print a comma b comma c comma sep is equal to comma and equal to exclamatory sign. What does it mean? It will display the value a, b and c. Between a, b and c it will put comma, and at the end it will put exclamatory sign. Prints comma after each values, exclamatory at the end. Same thing if I write print a comma b comma c, here separator is equal to 3 dots and hash sign. Print 3 dots after each values and hash at the end. Getting my point? So this is how we can specify a values in the print function. So what is input and print function? These are the two basic functions available in Python to get the data from the user and to display the data on the screen. Standard input device is keyboard, standard output device is monitor. Now let's see some program. Write a program which will input a number and display its square. This is how num is equal to float, input, enter the number, num underscore square is equal to num into num, print the square of num is this. Getting my point? So we will try this in the Visual Studio. Okay, just hold on. Let's see. Here we will just hold on. Yes, or you will try it, that is not a big issue. You try this program in your compiler. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me. I will try to make you understand. Input, enter the number, it will prompt one message on the screen. You will input some data that will be converted into float and it will be stored in num. Num underscore square is equal to num into num, means the multiplication of num and num will be stored in num underscore square, and the print will be the square of, suppose user enter 3, the square of 3 is 9. Same thing, write a program which will input a number and display its cube. Then we have to write num is equal to float, input, enter the number, suppose user enter 2, so num underscore cube is equal to 2 into 2 into 2, 2 into 2 4, 4 into 2 8, 8 will be stored in num cube, print the cube of num is num underscore cube. So this is how you can input and output some data on the screen or from the keyboard. Any doubt, you can ask me, otherwise we will stop here. I will provide you some questions, you try it, because one thing, make it very clear in your mind. Okay, this is a practical oriented subject. Computer is a practical oriented subject. जितना ज़्यादा practice करोगे, you will have good hand on the programming languages, whether you are doing a Python or any other language. Okay, soon we are going to start live classes also, maybe on 2 or 3 days. Then we will try to understand the things live. Okay, go through this. If any doubt, you can ask me, otherwise we will stop here. Thank you very much. If you like the contents of the channel, please like, share and subscribe as much you can. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.